And welcome to the next episode of Do You Have To? Fat Loss Edition, where we take a look at some of the dogmatic ideologies in our fitness culture that people say you have to follow in order to lose weight and be lean. And we're asking, do you really have to do these things, particularly if you don't want to? So before we jump into that, let's take a look at fundamentally what you do have to do if you want to get leaner. Getting down to that fundamental principle of Mother Nature, because Mother Nature is the one who's ultimately in charge of your ability to get a particular result in fitness, and it's always two-sided. So with fat loss, we have, of course, energy balance. We have calories coming into our body, calories going out. And as long as you got more going in than going out, you're going to get fatter. As long as you have more going out than going in, you're going to get leaner, regardless of any other methods or attributes. Any diet, any exercise program you want whatsoever. Nothing outside of that is inherently necessary. And of course, some things are going to be more advantageous. Some things are going to be healthier. I mean, hell, you could lose weight starving to death on a deserted island. Not the way I would recommend it, though. So let's get a little bit more of a realistic bead on some of these methods. So first and foremost, we address the big one, right? Do you have to have some sort of restriction to your diet? A lot of times these days, it's about carbohydrates. Do you need to be low carb or keto or restricting your fat levels or any sort of things like this? And the answer to this is largely absolutely not. The vast majority of people on this planet, I'm talking literally billions of people who are lean and will stay lean and continue being lean, don't follow any such restrictive dietary practices whatsoever. And that anecdotally should at least clue us into the fact that they're not necessarily. Can you do it? Yes. Can you lose weight, low carb, or all these other types of approaches? Yes. Does that make it necessary? Absolutely not. So if you don't want to do these things, there's literally zero good reason to do them outside of maybe like health concerns like diabetic and you need to control carbohydrates and stuff. The next one's a big one though. It's a doozy because a lot of times we get enticed into dietary practices or exercise practices because we're lured by the carrot on the stick of do this, you burn fat. Or do this and you know you're going to store it. So the question is, do you have to burn fat and avoid storing fat in order to get leaner? The answer for this is absolutely not. No one ever got fatter by storing fat. No one ever got leaner by avoiding fat storage. How do I know this? Because both of these happen to everybody every single day. No matter how you eat, and no matter what you do in your workout program, you are guaranteed to burn fat today. You're burning fat right now, as a matter of fact, watching this video. And no matter how you eat, no matter what you do, you are guaranteed to store fat today. I don't even care if you're fasting today. You're storing fat in some way, shape, or form. So these two terms, they sound enticing, they sound exciting or threatening, but the fact is they do not control your body fat levels because we are always doing these. It's the ratio between the two, and it's also the ratio of storage of and burning of carbohydrate, as well as protein and other substrates as well, things like alcohol. So it's not down to that one thing. I know it sounds promising or threatening, but ultimately it really just comes out in the wash still as calories in, calories out. Whether or not you're burning or whether or not you're storing is rather trivial. Along those lines, we also have the idea of do you have to control hormones, particularly insulin, in order to get leaner or manage your body fat. And this one, again, is based on some validity and some correlation versus causation, but a lot of it's blown out of proportion. Once again, we come down to the burn fat, store fat, insulin, store fat, oh no, glucagon, burn fat, oh great, kind of thing. But the fact of the matter is these hormones do not ultimately control your body fat levels. You can certainly store fat without insulin. In fact, most of your fat storage isn't done in the absence of insulin. And you can eat carbohydrates, have insulin go up, and not even store it as fat. You could store it as in your liver and in your muscles as glycogen. So, is insulin responsible? No. Glucagon responsible for weight loss? No. We're still coming down to intake versus expenditure. Let's get into exercise now. 3 things: cardio, strength training and building muscle, and core training. Do you need these things to get leaner? So cardio is the first one. Interesting because some people will be like zealots about cardio, like, oh my gosh, you can burn so much with cardio kind of thing. And other people like, are you kidding me? You can run for like 5 hours and you put it right back after eating half a bagel or something like that. They're both right to some degree, but the bottom line is cardio can be a very good, viable way to burn a lot of excess calories. I'm certainly a fan of it for that, but it depends on how you're doing it. Time is a big one. Like if you're just kind of lollygagging on the treadmill, going through social media for 20 minutes at the gym, yeah, you're not gonna burn very much with that. But if you're like me and you go out on a 4-hour mountain bike ride like at Buff Creek last Sunday, you're gonna burn a lot. In fact, some of us had like trackers that we were wearing and stuff, and their average calorie burn for that afternoon was north of 2,500 calories. That's significant influence. When you burn 3,000 calories or so in a single shot, that's not trivial. You can certainly have a big contribution to that, and it takes a lot even to put that back. I mean, that's more than some people eat an entire day. So it can be beneficial to burn through cardio, but again, you don't want to rely on just that one thing because it's increasing your caloric expenditure, but it's not like you can do a particular type of cardio and it makes you leaner. Next up is strength training. This is one of those ones where technically, no, you don't need it, but you're really going to want it for a number of reasons. I know a lot of people say, oh, muscle is metabolically active and it burns calories. It's true, but it may not be that much of an influence. But when you're stronger and more resilient, you can be more active and you can work at a higher intensity. Plus, of course, when we are trying to lose weight, if we're in that caloric deficit, we're telling our body, hey, use yourself as fuel, right? So we're like, okay, I got carbohydrate that's stored, I got fat that's stored, and oh, look, I've got protein stored in muscles. So when we do strength training, we're saying, yeah, but the muscle, hands off. That's off limits. Go after the other stuff instead. I still need this because I'm creating a functional demand to preserve it. So while strength training, again, won't directly make you lean, it certainly has a number of influences that cause ripple effects that can make it healthier and easier to lose weight in a more practical way. And then finally, core work. It's funny how the same people will say that cardio is worthless for weight loss will do a core class and thinking that if I work my core, I get to whittle the middle, as it were. The fact is, core exercises, they're just not hard enough and they're not long enough to burn a substantial amount of calories, which is really what's most important here. I'm not saying don't do it. Certainly do your core exercises because it's good to have strong core, good to have stability, good to have strong abs, but it's not really going to do anything whatsoever for your body fat levels. And for the last point, I got a funny story to share with you. A guy sat down one time, was at work, and he's like, dude, I'm gonna lose some weight today. I'm like, how? He's like, I'm gonna consume this weight loss shake. And he cracked it open and he slurped it down. And he's like, there we go. And then he proceeded to eat his normal lunch. I'm like, you're not gonna lose weight doing that. I'm like, no, it's a weight loss shake and stuff. He didn't understand that the difference between a weight loss shake and a weight gain shake is that fundamentally they're exactly the same thing. It's just a weight gain shake you consume in addition to your normal food, and a weight loss shake you consume instead of your normal food. Ultimately, the true goal of effective weight management is not to get your body to be lean and manage your weight. I mean, that's good, and if you are trying to get leaner, then that's where you're going to put a lot of your time and attention right now. But ultimately, the real goal is to transcend the need to worry about weight management. Because sadly, a lot of people, their whole attention in what am I going to eat and how am I going to exercise is completely consumed by how do I get and stay lean. I was in that area of fitness for many years. Everything I was considering was how am I going to work off that piece of cake? How am I going to stay on my diet during this vacation? How do I keep my workout going even though I'm on this cruise or I can't get to the gym and stuff? Everything was consumed, stress and anxiety about just maintaining my physique. But now I'm in this place where I don't even have to worry about it. I put more attention into figuring out what kind of peanut butter I want to buy at the grocery store than how I can stay relatively lean. And the biggest part of doing that is breaking out of these dogmatic ideas, because these ideas tell you you have to constantly stay in this perpetual cycle of worrying about your weight, of worrying about how many carbohydrates you're eating, of worrying about how many calories you can burn every day in your cardio session, or whatever the case may be. But when we get down to the fundamental principles, we recognize that you're free from all of that. You can do anything you want, adjust to your circumstances, and now you can make fitness about the other rewarding things: strength, vitality, robust joints, feeling great, kick-ass performance, all these other things that you can have. And you're like, yeah, the weight thing, I got that taken care of and out of the way years ago. I don't have to worry about that so much anymore. That's my sincere goal for you. And I hope that kind of inches you a little bit more towards that with this video. All right, thank you very much for watching. Questions down below. Be fit and live free.